So I'm here at Green Machine Comics outside. It's Thrawntalk Podcast. My name's Thrawn, Jesse, and I'm here with Mr. Dominic Pace.
Hey guys, how are you? Hello to all your listeners, and hope you guys are doing well.
Right, and you may know him from the popular show The Mandolorian, which we have all seen. You know you have, and if you haven't, then there's something you're not doing correctly. All right, so now I'm just here to ask him a few questions about life in general and squeeze in a few Star Wars things while I'm at it. So now, Mr. Pace, well, what actually kind of got you into acting?
You know, it was a beautiful adrenaline rush. I love baseball. Pitching was my life. But if you can imagine me with hair at 16 years old, my mother used to play all these musicals when we had our chores. Grease was the musical in high school, and I got to audition for Danny Zuko. I always had a good voice, not a great voice, but I had a good enough voice, and I just loved musicals. And Grease was one of them, West Side Story, of course. Mm-hmm. So I started as Danny Zuko, and it was just a packed theater. The adrenaline rush, to feel that from the audience, was something that was so addicting. I went to college for 1 year, and I told my mom, I said, look, I'm not going to be on the couch smoking weed and playing PlayStation. I said, I really want to pursue this. And it's ironic because my first audition was actually a cattle call for Sister Act 2, and then there was another cattle call for a movie which ended up being The Blair Witch Project.
Oh.
So you would think that I would have been discouraged, but here we are 25, 26 years later, and it's been ups and downs, but at the same time just always have had that passion in the business as well as with the art.
And you've been kind of an everyman of Hollywood, as they would say, because you've done a lot of different roles. I've gone through your IMDb, and so I've seen a lot of the episodes you've done, and you do seem to fall into the cop type of typecast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm sure you may not like it at some points, but it does pay the bills, right? I'm assuming correctly?
Absolutely. You know, I'm one of those where I'm non-PC. It's like, look, I mean, you know, call it what it is. I mean, you know, if you see a bouncer, you see a bouncer. I don't need to be the boy next door in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, being a cop or being a bouncer, it's part of the business. Being a big bounty hunter is part of the business. So I just completely embrace it, and I don't mind at all. There's no offense at all in terms of who I play.
Okay, as far as bounty hunting goes, who's the best bounty hunter?
Oh man, well, you know, any bounty hunter themselves would say themselves. So without question, I know that Gekko would say Gekko. But I mean, who doesn't love Boba? Who doesn't love Dengar? I mean, I think I would love to see Dengar played by Vinnie Jones. You know, kind of tough and gruff. The original Dengar was played by a middleweight English boxer. So.
Oh yes, that's correct. Yes. No, I love Vinnie Jones. He is a great soccer player, great actor. In fact, his wife passed away not too long ago, I think, right, of cancer, and she was a wonderful lady.
Yeah.
But be that as may, like, we're kind of going into now. You said you did baseball, and I saw that your son plays baseball.
Yeah.
And like, are you guys Dodger fans?
Well, I'm originally from New York, so in 1986, I was 10 years old. There was no better team. I don't think there ever will be a better team for me than the 86 Mets. Once you pick your team...
Oh, Keith Hernandez!
Gary Carter, Wally Backman, Mookie Wilson, Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry.
I mean, Strawberry, he can yoke it. He was stroking it back in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. Legendary.
Yeah.
But my son, born and raised blue, so I just love what they've done with that organization with Dave Roberts and Cody Bellinger and all that. Just a class act all through, up and down the lineup. So it's great to root for both teams. I'm not one of those guys where I can't root for the Dodgers, but lifelong Mets fan.
Now, would you like to see your son go into the business that you're in now, or would you prefer him to actually stay out of that and pursue more of like a sports or just a general education?
Sports is something balanced. I feel like, I mean, not to knock myself, but I feel like a lot of times artists, you have a certain emotional deprivation. And the one thing I'd like to believe with my wife and I is that we've given our kids such a strong foundation, emotional foundation, that I think the catch-22 is that they may not want or need because they've been surrounded by such unconditional love. Mm-hmm. We hope that they still have that drive, that fire in people's soul, that sometimes coming from a little bit of more of a troubled or a little bit of a broken family background, where they're able to have that motivation. Mm-hmm. But no, I'd like to see them go into something a little more stable. Both my sons there.
Okay. And who was probably the actor that you worked with in Star Wars or stood next to that you would really like to work with in a scene together? Like, more of like an elite type of situation.
Well, I mean, in general, there's nobody more legendary than Harrison Ford. That would be obviously
That'd be your top there.
That would be the top without question. I mean, the man was just such an alpha in his day and age, and obviously he still has some in him. I believe he just did a crazy bike tour. I think it was from like Tijuana to Santa Barbara or something
like that. Yeah,
something insane. But of course, yeah, my idol's always been Harrison Ford.
Well, if anybody can crash land a jet or a plane,
oh boy,
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, we gotta get him away from the wheel.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna wrap this up here with Mr. Dominic Pace, and he's gonna be on his way across the nation for his rest of this Gekko tour. We're here at the beginning of it, and I almost caught him in Hawaii. We were just islands apart, actually.
Yeah.
He was on the Big Island, and I was over in Waikiki kicking it. So we thank you for tuning in, and again, we thank you, Mr. Pace.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hope everyone stays safe and healthy right now. Hope to see you guys on the tour. Check out Lair of the Gekko on Facebook, or also Gekko the Hunter on Twitter, or Dominic Pace on Instagram there. I appreciate you all.
Fabulous. That's right. And Thrawntalk Pod, back at you.